Hello, welcome, Devil Sniper here, and today I'm bringing you episode number 27 of our career mode with West Ham United. It is that time. It is the end of season review. We're going to be reviewing absolutely everything. We're going to start off with my career summary. As you know, obviously one club. We played 42 games, not the greatest record at this moment in time. It reminds me of FIFA 13, if I'm honest. Our biggest drubbing, of course, that 4-0 loss to Stoke. Our biggest win, that 3-0 win over Burnley. That 4-0 drubbing has it's hit me quite hard, to be honest, because I felt that we were in the game. Obviously, the scoreline didn't reflect that. We didn't get what we deserved, and we ended up losing 4-0. We didn't finish where we wanted to in the table neither, which is a little bit frustrating, I have to admit, but I feel it's a great basis to build upon, and I feel if we get everything right in this transfer window, we can have a great and a very bright future with the club, and I feel we can take the mighty Hammers onto European glory as well as Premier League glory and hopefully winning domestic cups. I'm not saying we're all going to do that all in one season. Obviously, we're not in Europe for a start. I'm not saying we're going to be title contenders, but I am saying that we're going to make a hell of a push for finishing in the top 5, and that's what I want, essentially. Top 5 finish. I really want to be in amongst it when it comes to the title contenders, and I want to be in amongst it when it comes to the domestic cups, your Capital One Cup, your FA Cup. You know, I want to bring some silverware to the bowling. It's quite simple. Silverware to the bowling. As you would have seen there, Adrian, 19 clean sheets is pretty damn impressive. As much as I've given him a lot of criticism this season, and you know, I've questioned, is he up to the task of being the West Ham number 1? He has really answered back at the end of the season with the statistics showing that he literally is the best keeper in the Premier League, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. Looking at all the players, we're going to go through the squad report, and I'm going to highlight where I feel that we need to strengthen, where we need to replace, and where we need to bring in superb quality. Of course, Adrian is under fire from me personally. I know a lot of you guys have, put him down for fans player of the season. It'll be interesting to see who will win that. Of course, in today's video, we will have the man of the match, or the player of the season, which is done by man of the matches. We'll have fans player of the season. We'll have managers player of the season. We'll have goal of the season, where you get to pick your goal of this season. Obviously, the winner won't be in this episode. I will also be picking mine in episode 28, so you'll get a chance to do your goal of the season. I'll do my goal of the season, and we'll have a little look at transfer targets. That aside, Adrian is under fire. We do need a solid number 2 goalkeeper who will potentially become the number 1 in the next sort of 2 to 3 years. So we need to bring someone in who's young, who's good, and can do the job in sort of 2 to 3 years and can replace Adrian. As you know, Carl Jenkinson is going back to Arsenal. Do we replace him? Because we do have Chambers. Now, Chambers can play as a right back and he can play as a centre back, which means he's versatile, which I love. He seems so much better when I played him at right back than when I played him at centre back. Now, Winnie Reid, we've obviously tied down to a new deal. He's not going anywhere. James Tompkins, he hasn't signed a new deal as yet. We're not going to offer him one just yet, but he's at the club for the foreseeable future. He's going nowhere. Aaron Cresswell, what a fantastic season. Really, really did love using Cresswell. I do feel we do need a second left back, which at the moment we have Joey O'Brien. Is he up to the job to be the second left back? That's a question we've got to ask ourselves. Well, do we go out and look for someone who can play left back and centre back? So we've got the versatility of a Chambers, essentially, because I don't think Cresswell can do the whole season, and also we want that bit of depth just in case we get injuries. Of course, Alexander Song. Alex Song is going back to Barcelona. Do we splash out on him? Because his reported value is 8.5 million. We all know Barca are going to want a few quid for him. And that's an interesting one, because we have got Chalobah, we have got Chiarte, we have got Diego Poyet, we've got George Moncur, of course we've got Mark Noble, who we'll move on to next. Mark Noble, not going anywhere. The Cockney genius is just a legend. He had a fantastic season. He really did have a fantastic season. Injury aside, you know, I feel he was one of the best players we had last season. Of course, Ravel Morrison, I'm sure you guys picked up during the course of last season, or the end, or this season. I keep saying last season. We haven't started the new season. You know, during the season, you would have picked up that I absolutely loved and adore him. He was a pleasure to play with, a pleasure to use, and I feel he's an absolute talent. Sacco, you know, the boy is fantastic. I'm struggling to work out what our best formation is. I enjoy the 4-3-3, but I also enjoy playing 2 up top, and I think playing 2 up top would suit Sacco, especially with his pace, his strength, and his ability. He's just brilliant. Valencia, not a bad first season in the Premier League, in my opinion. I would love to have seen him hit 15. He hit 9 in the Premier League, which, do you know what, is a basis to build upon, and that's the way I look at it. It's a basis to build upon. If you cast your memory back to FIFA 13, that first season we completed in FIFA 13 was probably worse. Yeah, I would say it was worse than this season. Now, we drew a lot of games, we didn't win a lot of games, and we lost a fair few games, and we built around that in Season 2. And may I add, in Season 2, we made the acquisition of Filippo Bonaperti. Yes, the player that completely changed, revolutionised, and took us to that next level in West Ham career mode. And that's how important this transfer window is. The start of Season 2, this summer transfer window it's biblically important. It is that important. Moving on swiftly anyway. Javo, he played well throughout the season, got that nasty injury, never felt like the same player when he came back. Also, his finishing at times was diabolical, but one of those things we can work on some of that. But I was a little bit worried about the way he didn't come back to be the same player after that injury. And I mean that when you play career mode, you can tell how a player is. If before he gets an injury, they feel sublime, they feel pacey, they feel, on the nail. But after that injury, he just didn't. Moving on to Kare, who we brought in, and it was a case of getting Morgan out because of his wages, and Morgan didn't fit in the club for me personally. I'm not saying that in a real life aspect. I actually do like Morgan quite a lot. I think he's a really good player. That is technically underrated in my personal opinion. But in career mode, I wanted Kare. I bought Kare in. He's way too much fun, and I think I'm going to get myself in trouble because I just want to do skill moves with him. It's that simple. Zarate, I love Zarate in real life. I think he's absolutely amazing. I'm glad he came out and put the media straight about him staying at the club. But in career mode, I can't fathom him out. I played him on the right, I played him on the left, I played him at cam, I played him up top. I can't find a position that I can get the best out of him. I can't get him to finish. I can't get him to do anything that I really want to, which is frustrating. Berahino, who came in, the guy is fantastic. I really do love Berahino. He's going to have a long-term future at West Ham. Obviously, Kare, what we got to work on with Kare? Of course, we've got to work on his discipline and, of course, keeping him injury-free. Now, in episode 26, you would have picked up that I was talking about someone. In fact, it was Kare. He will go down in this club in history because I feel he's underrated. I really do. In real life, in career mode, he's underrated. Trust me. When we see the best and injury-free Kare, which, as you know, in real life, he picks up an injury. Once he stays injury-free, the boy's going to be absolutely immense and amazing. One person nearly hit the nail on the head, but they questioned themselves about an injury. And I left it quite an open sort of guess, really, because you didn't know if I was talking about career mode or talking about real-life West Ham, which was quite funny for me because obviously I knew that I was screwing you over. You guys didn't, and yeah. Jake, I think it's Jake or Jack, sorry, I haven't got the name to hand. I think it's Jake Newfield, I think. I have to question myself. I should have checked this before I done this video. I didn't, that's my bad. But he hit the nail on the head and then questioned himself, which I thought was absolutely hilarious because he hit the nail. It was Kare, who I felt had a fantastic season in career mode and at this moment in time is having a fantastic season in real life. Just needs to stay injury-free. Moving on, we have a lot of players that we need to probably get rid of. Vastane needs to go. We know Carlton Cole's going. Andy Carroll, there's a lot of speculation over Andy Carroll. The biggest problem I've got with Andy Carroll in career mode is trying to fit him in to a team, into a formation, which means I have to play the two up top, which means I need your guys' help. Start putting in a comment section below formations that I can utilise Andy Carroll because he won't work for me in a 4-3-3 because of the way I play. Anyway, player of the season in 5th position was Adrian. Put in a phenomenal season. Didn't win enough man of the matches to be granted with being the winner. In 4th place was Valencia. I'll just get my I've got my pace notes where I know who got the man of the matches. Adrian, he picked up, where is he? Adrian got 3 man of the match votes. Valencia got 3 man of the match votes. In 3rd place was Ravel Morrison. He got 3 man of the match votes. He had a great season for me. Valencia had a great season. Scored some important goals. Scored some good goals in the end. In 2nd place was Kare. Kare managed to nail 4 man of the matches, which I think is impressive in his first season. He was brilliant, including red cards, yellow cards, and a 30-yarder against Liverpool. But of course, player of the season with 5 man of the matches was Mark Noble. What a season. It just goes to show, just because he hasn't got pace, he's got the passing goal that we require. We just need to support him in midfield. He had a phenomenal season. He is an absolute revelation in my personal opinion. Now, the graphics have obviously been done by my eldest. This is every single goal from the season. Every single goal. When you look at the graphics, it will say you hashtag the player's name and the game. For example, this was, well, we'll use this one. Valencia versus Liverpool. To vote for this goal, you hashtag Enna Liverpool. Hashtag Enna Liverpool. If you feel this is your goal of the season, hopefully we'll get enough votes to have like a top 3 goals, which will be pretty cool. I'm only going to pick one goal. For me personally, one goal. I think I know which goal it's going to be. But we'll worry about that in the next episode where we'll do a little bit more on transfers. Today we're going to touch on it, but we're not going to go in depth because that's your job. That is your job. You know me. You know the way I like to do my career modes. It's not about me going out and picking players and not listening to the comment section. It's about you guys using your brains, realising that this is the most biblical transfer window we're going to have, bearing that all in mind and giving me players that will add to our squad. Not players that are overused in career mode on YouTube. That's the most important factor. I don't want players who are overused on career mode on YouTube because it defeats the object. I want hidden gems. I might introduce a dirty little secret. You know I like to have my dirty little secret. I'm not 100% sure as that is oh my God, I love that goal. I love that goal. Mark Noble, outside of his right foot, into the top corner against Manchester City. That was an absolute brilliant goal. It really was a brilliant goal. I like this goal against Stoke City as well because look at the passing, look at the movement. Absolutely brilliant. The ball around the corner was a delight. And look at Enna Valencia, the fake shot onto his left foot and then just sticks it past the Stoke keeper, which isn't Begovic because Begovic went to Roma, which is a big shame because he would have been an admirable number 2 at West Ham in my opinion. Look at that. Andy Carroll with a fake shot. Who would have Adam and Eve that Andy Carroll could do a fake shot? But he did and he scored. So yes, you guys need to give me players who are going to change our career mode. Players who are going to revolutionise it. You know me, potential does not bother me. It's not about potential. It's not about getting a player who's 18 years old and in 10 seasons he's going to be a rated 100. I don't honestly care. As long as a player can score goals, does what he's supposed to do in his position, I'm happy. And if he grows, brilliant. We saw that with Eduardo in FIFA 13. I think he only ended up reaching 80, was it? 80, 81 in the 6 seasons that we used him, and he played a lot of goals from a lot of games. I wish he got a lot of goals. He scored a few screamers. He played a lot of games from sort of season 3 onwards. When you look back over the career mode and do a statistical evaluation of how many games he played about 180 games for us, which is a lot of games. A lot of games. It's not an immense amount, but it is a lot of games. And he only grew to 80. But he was one of the heroes. One of the players that people remember. We all remember Eduardo. Hell, we've got his brother. That's why. And that's what's important to me. It's not about having the most amazing player in the world. It's about having a player who can become a cult hero. Filippo Bonaparti, he was just abnormal. He grew. And when I finished playing FIFA 13, which I got to Season 9 by myself, and just before Filippo's 30th birthday, he's 95 rated. He's unstoppable. He's ridiculous. He's just a freak of nature. But it's not about that. He was a hero. People remember him. People still want me to buy him because he's a hero, something that we loved and adored. He revolutionised our West Ham career mode, and that's what we're looking for. That was another nice goal. Sacco there, that cut inside was beautiful. We have scored some really, really nice goals throughout the season. We haven't scored enough goals, and I take that on board. We have wasted some quite simple chances, and we've tried to be flamboyant when we don't need to be flamboyant. And that ball round the corner from Mark Noble was just another level of a pass, a real another level of pass. And the finish from Valencia, wow, that was fantastic. So if you wanted that goal, it would be hashtag Enna Arsenal. And of course, this is Enna Valencia. Wesley Brown diving in on him. You can't do that to Enna Valencia. He's got the pace, he's got the goal, he's got the know-how. And of course, we finally did get Zerati to score in the Barclays Premier League. Some nice football. The ball played down that left-hand side into, I think it's Ravel Morrison. Nice little dink back. And the push there on Coolidge is just absolutely out of this world. I mean, it is WWE SmackDown all day long with that sort of wrestling move. Absolutely brilliant. He should be playing rugby, to be fair. It includes the only penalty of the season that we got, which was taken by Mark Noble, and it came late in the season against Queen's Park Rangers. If you did like that one, then it would be Mark hashtag QPR. And I obviously knew that goal of the season was not going to be a penno. So going into the last 2 goals of our season, unfortunately, because the 2 final games were so dull and boring and just horrible to play, to be honest. It really was. I was glad to get the season out of the way in some ways, if I'm honest, because it reminded me too much of FIFA 13, the way we started in FIFA 13, and we just didn't get the luck that we deserved. And as I say, FIFA 13, you look at the two contrasting records, we never start well. It's just historical, and now it's an actual foundation of historical, which is annoying. But Berahino with 2 absolutely amazing goals. Absolutely amazing goals. That side, time to have a look at some of the players on the shortlist. Now, some of these players are obviously left from last summer, January, and of course, players that you have added over the last sort of couple of videos. When I asked for you to start adding players, I've included them. So, Mattia Perin, 22 years old, plays for Genoa. He's a solid goalkeeper. He, looking at Adrian's age, think 2 to 3 years, he's going to be our number 1. He'll be 25. Of course, Simone Scheft would be Scheft. Is it Scheft? Simone would be what, 21, 22-ish. That's a fantastic age to be coming into the team, and that means we wouldn't have to replace a goalkeeper for like 5, 6, 7 years, which would be absolutely brilliant. Now, the Danish lad, yes. This lad's not Danish. He's just a tank. He's just an undescribable tank. He looks interesting, but I'm not sure he's really West Ham class, and that's the important factor. But, I don't know. It depends on price. Obviously, Ali Bamba. Now, Bamba, the guy's 23. He's got 2 months remaining on his contract. We could dump one of our players that we don't really want to sell, one of the players that his contract's expiring, give them a few quid, move them along, because his contract is expiring in 2 months. Now, this guy can play left back, and he can play centre back, and he has medium-high work rates. On top of that, he's a tank. And that would be fantastic, because that hits 2 nails on the head. We replace Collins, and we give an admirable replacement to Creswell when we're switching the team around, which I think is a cracking idea. But as I say, it's not 100% down to me. It's down to you guys. If you think that's a good move, if you think it's a good idea, then let me know in that comment section below. It's important that you let me know in that comment section below. Obviously, Junior has moved to Paris Saint-Germain, so we can't touch him. He moved from Wolfsburg to Paris Saint-Germain for 6.5 million, so unfortunately we can't touch him. I don't know if it changes going into summer, but I don't know if we really want to go and buy a player that's moved sort of 6 months ago. It defeats the object of career mode. Now, Scott Brown, I would love to bring him in, and he's another player that I believe has 2 months, 2 months on his contract before it expires, but I do know that it's either beginning of June or mid-June. Brown has his birthday, so he will be 30 in June, which is a bit of a downside. I have to admit, it's a little bit of a downside, but, he's a fantastic player. He could do a magical job. And he could give us, that little bit of breathing space while the likes of Chalobah, of course, Diego Poyet, sort of grow and expand as players. Now, if I was to have a dirty little secret, Angel Correa would be the one. He's got everything that I would want in a dirty little secret. He's got perfect work rates, high-low. He's got a 4-star weak foot. He's got 4-star skill moves. He can play cam and he can play up top. He's versatile. He's pacey. He looks absolutely disgusting. But the one thing that obviously puts me off, we don't have £19.5 million to invest in my dirty little secret. If we did, we wouldn't be able to bring anyone else into the club. That defeats the whole object. So unfortunately, my dirty little secret will have to stay my dirty little secret in my head. Obviously, a few people did post Filippo Bonaperti. I'm not going to ignore people who put Bonaperti because I love Bonaperti. Hell, I use him on Ultimate Team, for Christ's sake. I love this guy. He scored bags of goals for me on Ultimate Team in single-player matches, just having a laugh. The guy is brilliant. They do underestimate him. I know they have a little bit of how can I put it? They do have to be a little bit more realistic. On some players they are, some players they're not. Filippo, unfortunately, he's not that great. He's not as good as his family were. I mean, I think it's his granddad who set the record for goals for Juventus. I mean, that's phenomenal. He's never followed in the footsteps of his parentage, which not many players do. I mean, you only have to look at Cruyff. I mean, his son was pretty shit, to be fair. Anyway, Babacar is a player that West Ham are linked to. Is it a player that we can go and have a look at, and a player that we could bring into the club because he's quickish? You know, he's not biblically quick, but he's quickish, he's strong, and he's tall, which is quite a scary combination. Of course, Hector, I like the look of him. The one thing that let me down is the fact he only has the 3-star skill moves. You know, blank face aside, it's the 3-star skill moves that disappoint me. Of course, Kishia, whatever his freaking name is, Ricardo, he's another left wing, right wing sort of player. And obviously, we're bringing in Bakary and, of course, Zuzek. I don't really feel that we need any more players down the left and right hand side, hence why I didn't talk about Nathan Redmond. I just left him in the actual team. Nathan Redmond doesn't need to be brought in because, well, we've got players in that position. We've already got Jarvo, we've got Bakary. Of course, on the other side, we've got Sacco who can play there, Berahino who can play there, Zuzek who can play there, and of course, we've got Downing who can play there, who another player is probably coming under pressure to be moved on, to be honest, because he's starting to drop. He can't seem to regain his statistics, which is frustrating. Anyway, that aside, Manager's Player of the Season. I think this was a bit of a give me, and if anyone didn't guess it, then you probably haven't watched the entire season. But for me, it was Ravel Morrison. I know he's at Cardiff in real life, which frustrates the living crap out of me, because he's such an amazing talent. He really is such an amazing talent. And I've picked 3 clips where he scores 2 goals and one where he creates. And this is what I just love about him. I just love him as an absolute player. I mean, he's pushed forward from that cam roll. He cuts inside. He's so smooth. If he had 4-star skill moves, I think he would be the best player on the game. That's how much I rate him, how highly I rate him. He's so much fun to play with. He's so easy to use. Centre of the park, nice couple of step overs, gets around a defender, then bang, into that top corner. He's capable of doing that week in, week out, and I can't wait to see how he progresses in Season 2. And he's probably one of my favourite players, I think, even on Ultimate Team. He's great fun on Ultimate Team as well. Not as smooth as he feels in career mode. I mean, that roulette into the drag back into the moving it out onto his left foot, having his shot and forcing a save is just astounding. Absolutely astounding. And I just love him so much. Really, really do love him so much. And hopefully he will sort himself out, come back to the Hammers and start playing like he did last season. I mean, when he tore Tottenham apart, wow. The boy has just got that talent. He's such a mercurial talent that he frustrates us all as Hammers fans. And one day he will live up to that, I feel. But anyway, Fans Player of the Season. Of course, in first place was Mark Noble, without a shadow of a doubt. You guys love Noble as much as I do, and you can see in the bottom, he's putting a fearsome tackle into Sergio Aguero. I've got to say, my eldest has got a sick sense of humour. She picked the pictures herself, she done all the graphics herself, and she picked a cracker for Mark Noble. In second place, I wasn't quite surprised. I was actually quite happy that it was Ravel Morrison. You picked up that he had a great season, and of course, he's holding off Wayne Rooney there because he's just biblical, and Rooney's just, let's be honest, crap. Anyway, in third place was Adrian, the player that I've given the most criticism to, which is ironic. I've given him criticism. I've tore him a new arse. I've been really harsh on him, and yet he came in third as the Fans Player of the Season, and a great little picture there that my elders picked. So I'm really happy with the way the season went. You know, position aside, because I'm not happy with that. I'm happy with the team. I'm happy with the changes we made to the team in the summer. I'm happy with the direction the career mode's going. But I need to remind you, this is the most important transfer window. You could revolutionise, change the direction of our club. You could get us into that European slot. You could get us onto title contenders. You could help us win the Premier League with your transfers.
I used to dream about cars and things, about being a star and things. I thought that I